Innocent was a young and handsome man. He was calm, quiet, and hardworking. He lived in a small town in Nigeria with his old mother. His father had died many years ago, so his mother raised him all by herself. Life was not always easy, but Innocent never complained. He was a good man with a clean heart. He owned a small taxi which he used to carry people around town. That was how he made money to feed himself and his mother. He loved his taxi. He washed it every morning and talked to it like a friend. His customers liked him because he didn't talk too much and never overcharged anyone. But behind his quiet smile was a hidden fear. His mother was getting old. Her back was bending, her steps were slow, and her eyes no longer saw clearly. Every evening, she sat outside the house and looked at Innocent with worry in her eyes. "My son," she would say, "you are not getting younger. I am getting weak. Please, give me a chance to see my daughter-in-law. Let me carry my grandchild before I leave this world." But Innocent would just look away. He didn't want to talk about marriage. The truth was, he was afraid. When he was a small boy, his father used to beat his mother. Innocent saw it all. The shouting, the hitting, the crying, the broken plates, the silence that followed after. It lived in his memory like a bad dream. He never forgot. As a child, he made a promise to himself. "I will never marry. I don't want to become like my father." So he grew up alone, quiet and careful. He stayed far from love. He stayed far from women. Even when other men talked about girlfriends and marriage, he kept silent. But his mother's voice became stronger each day. "My son, do you want me to die without seeing your wife? My son, even if it's just one child, let me hold my grandchild. My son, you are all I have." Innocent could no longer bear it. Her words were heavy on his heart. One early morning, while the sun was still rising, he sat beside her and said, "I'm ready. I need a wife." His mother's eyes opened wide with joy. She smiled with tears in her eyes. She held his hands and said, "I know a girl. Her name is Ekwitosi. She lives in the next village. She helps her mother sell bread in the market. She is well-behaved and kind. I will speak with her parents." That same week, they arranged the marriage. Innocent had never spoken to Ekwitosi before. He didn't know her voice or her favorite food, but he trusted his mother's choice. The wedding was small but beautiful. Neighbors came. Friends danced. Innocent sat quietly the whole day. His mother smiled from morning till night. "My joy is full," she said. After the wedding, Ekwitosi packed her small bag and moved into Innocent's house. She cleaned the room. She swept the compound. She smiled politely. She greeted everyone with respect. People started saying, "Innocent has found a good wife." Innocent tried to smile. He tried to be happy. But deep inside his heart, the fear was still there. What if marriage brings pain? He wanted peace. He wanted love. He wanted to forget the past. But slowly, very slowly, something began to change. Ekwitosi woke up early every morning. She swept the front of the house. She warmed water for bathing. She even helped Innocent iron his clothes sometimes before he left with his taxi. When he returned in the evening, she would serve his food quietly. She would kneel down and say, "Welcome, my husband. Hope your day was fine." Innocent would nod and go inside. He was not used to being close to anyone. Even though he was now married, he still kept to himself. Some nights, he would sit outside alone, staring at the moon. He would hear his neighbors laughing with their wives, but he stayed silent. His heart was still full of fear. He didn't know how to love. He didn't know how to talk about his feelings. Ekwitosi noticed it. She tried to be friendly. She tried to start conversations, but Innocent would just give short answers. Yes. No. Okay. She began to feel lonely in the house. She wanted her husband to smile at her. She wanted him to play with her or ask her how her day went. But Innocent was always too quiet. Still, she didn't complain. She didn't shout. She didn't even cry. She just kept doing her duties like a good wife. But inside her, questions were rising. Does he really want me? Am I a burden in this house? Did he marry me just to please his mother? Innocent's mother was always around. She watched everything. She noticed every movement. She saw the way Innocent avoided his wife. She saw the way Equitosi tried to be friendly and got nothing in return. Sometimes, she would tell Innocent, "My son, your wife is a human being, not a bag of rice. You need to talk to her. Smile with her. She is not your enemy." But Innocent would just shake his head and walk away. He didn't want trouble. He didn't want noise. He just wanted peace. One evening, something small happened that began to open a small crack in their home. Innocent came back from work looking very tired. His shirt was soaked with sweat. The sun had been very hot that day. He entered the house and dropped his keys on the table. "Please bring my food," he said quietly. Equitosi came out of the kitchen and replied softly, "My husband, I was waiting for you. I wanted to warm the soup when you arrive so it will be fresh." Innocent frowned. He didn't say a word, but his face changed. She quickly rushed to the kitchen and started warming the soup. But that small silence planted something in her heart, fear. She served the food 5 minutes later, kneeling down like always. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Innocent didn't reply. He just ate quietly and went to bed. That night, Equitosi cried on her pillow. "Why do I feel like a stranger in my own husband's house?" The next day, something else happened. While Innocent was out driving his taxi, one of his tires burst on the road. He had to push his car to the side and wait under the sun for hours. He had no spare tire. He was hungry, dirty, and angry. It was a very bad day. He got home late. As he entered the compound, Equitosi rushed out. "Welcome, my husband. I was worried. Your food is ready." But Innocent was too angry. "Leave me. Don't disturb me," he shouted. Equitosi stepped back in shock. It was the first time he had raised his voice at her. His mother heard the noise and came outside. "My son, is everything all right?" Innocent didn't answer. He walked straight to his room and banged the door. His mother looked at Equitosi. "Don't worry. He must have had a bad day. Go inside." Equitosi nodded and wiped her tears. "Is this how marriage is?" she asked herself. That night, Innocent didn't eat the food she prepared. He didn't come out of his room. Equitosi cleaned the plates and cried again. She missed her mother. She missed her small room in the village. She missed selling bread and laughing with people in the market. Now, she was in a house where nobody talked to her. A house where silence was louder than words. And slowly, a new change began in her. She stopped smiling. She stopped asking innocent questions. She only spoke when spoken to. And deep in her heart, something dark was growing.